Atlantis. The name alone awakens visions of a lost world, an island of splendor, swallowed by the sea in a single day and night. For thousands of years, this story has haunted humanity. But where does it come from? The earliest account of Atlantis comes not from legend or folklore, but from one of history's greatest philosophers, Plato. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. In them, he described a mighty civilization that existed 9,000 years before his time. Atlantis, he said, was a vast island beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar. It was rich in resources, fertile lands, and advanced knowledge. Its people built magnificent palaces, temples, and harbors. Their navy ruled the seas. Their engineers carved canals and bridges. Their city shone with wealth: gold, silver, ivory, and orichalcum, a mysterious metal said to glow like fire. But Atlantis was not only wealthy, it was powerful. Plato wrote that the Atlanteans sought to expand their empire, conquering lands as far as Egypt and Italy. They were unstoppable until they turned their eyes on Athens. In Plato's tale, the Athenians stood alone against the empire of Atlantis, and against all odds, they triumphed. Soon after, the gods punished Atlantis for its arrogance. In a single night of earthquakes and floods, the island sank beneath the waves, leaving nothing but legend. But was Plato describing history or myth? Some scholars believe Plato invented Atlantis as an allegory, a cautionary tale about pride and corruption, a story to teach that even the mightiest civilizations can fall. Yet others insist he was recording real history, passed down through Egyptian priests who told of a forgotten war and a sunken land. The details in Plato's account are precise. He describes the geography of the island, the concentric rings of water and land that formed its capital, the fertile plains, the mountains rich with minerals. He speaks of elephants roaming the land, of temples dedicated to Poseidon, of laws engraved on orichalcum pillars. Was this level of detail mere imagination, or the memory of something real? After Plato, the story spread through the ancient world. Philosophers debated it, historians questioned it, some dismissed it as fable, others treated it as truth. Yet curiously, no other ancient source spoke of Atlantis before Plato. Was he preserving a memory long forgotten by others, or creating a myth that would outlive empires? The Renaissance revived interest in Atlantis. Explorers returning from the New World claimed the Americas might be Atlantis reborn. Maps were drawn, books written, each author convinced they had solved the riddle. The island appeared everywhere, from the depths of the Atlantic to the Mediterranean to faraway lands across the oceans. But the question remained, if Atlantis truly existed, where was it? And if it was only a story, why has it endured for over 2 millennia, refusing to die? Atlantis is more than a lost city. It is a mirror, a reflection of our hopes and fears, the dream of a golden age, the terror of sudden destruction, the warning that even the greatest civilizations can sink into the sea. Plato's tale planted a seed, and humanity has watered it ever since. So, was Atlantis a parable, a memory, or both? What if it is a story built on fragments of truth, distorted across centuries but rooted in something real? The answer lies not only in philosophy but in the oceans themselves. For if Atlantis existed, its ruins must still lie hidden beneath the waves, waiting for us to find them. If Atlantis was real, where did it stand? For centuries, scholars, explorers, and dreamers have searched for its resting place. The theories are countless, scattered across oceans and continents. Each clue, each hypothesis brings us closer and yet further from the truth. One of the most popular ideas places Atlantis in the Mediterranean, on the island of Santorini. Around 1600 BC, the Minoan civilization flourished on Crete and its surrounding islands. They built palaces, traded across seas, and worshipped gods of the ocean. Then came disaster. A volcanic eruption tore the island of Thera apart, unleashing tsunamis that devastated the region. Could Plato's tale of Atlantis sinking in a single night be a memory of this catastrophe? The ruins of Akrotiri, buried in ash, offer haunting parallels. Advanced architecture, colourful frescoes, a city lost in fire and water. Many see in Santorini the bones of Atlantis, reinterpreted by Plato centuries later. Others look west, to the Atlantic itself. Plato described Atlantis as lying beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar. That points directly to the open ocean. Here, the Azores rise like mountains from the sea, their peaks breaking the surface while the rest lies hidden beneath. Could they be the last fragments of a drowned continent? Oceanographers have mapped strange ridges and plateaus under the Atlantic, sparking speculation of lands once above water. Science explains them as tectonic activity. But what if these are the scars of a vanished empire? Some theories drift even further. The Caribbean, with its shallow waters and mysterious structures, has long been proposed as Atlantis's grave. Off the coast of Cuba, sonar images revealed formations resembling stone blocks and roads deep below the waves. Off Bimini in the Bahamas, divers discovered the so-called Bimini Road, a formation of large stones that some claim is a sunken harbour or pathway. Skeptics call it natural geology. But what if it is the last trace of a forgotten civilization? And then, there are theories bold enough to reach the ends of the earth. Some suggest Atlantis lies beneath the ice of Antarctica. According to this view, the continent was once ice-free, home to an advanced society, before shifting poles buried it under frozen miles. Satellite images have revealed unusual formations in the snow, structures that look uncannily geometric. Are they mountains, or the ruins of something ancient waiting in the cold? Even closer to Plato's home, some scholars argue Atlantis was not across oceans at all, but within the Mediterranean. Locations from Spain to Morocco, even Malta, have been named as candidates. Each bears fragments of similarity: stone ruins, flood myths, strange geology. Could Plato's account have been a mixture of multiple memories stitched together into one grand tale? Science seeks answers in geology. The Earth's surface is restless, shaped by tectonic plates and shifting seas. Whole lands have risen and fallen. Catastrophic floods have swallowed coasts. Could Atlantis simply be one of these lost lands, magnified into myth by human memory? After all, the Black Sea itself was once a fertile plain before waters rushed in, drowning villages and reshaping history. But if Atlantis is only geology, why did Plato describe it with such detail? Why did he speak of its laws, its temples, its wars, its wealth? Was he embellishing truth or preserving fragments of a memory older than we can trace? The search for Atlantis is not just about ruins, it is about meaning. Every candidate site reflects something of our own desires. Santorini tells of the fragility of civilizations. The Azores and Caribbean speak to our longing for hidden continents. Antarctica reflects our fascination with worlds concealed by nature itself. In every theory, Atlantis becomes less of a place and more of a symbol, a reflection of humanity's eternal search for lost origins. And yet the possibility remains. Somewhere beneath waves or ice, stone pillars may still stand, waiting for us to uncover them. If Atlantis was real, its ruins may lie closer than we imagine or farther than we can reach. Atlantis has never been only about geography. It has always been more than stones and ruins. For centuries, the legend has been woven into the fabric of mysticism, spirituality, and even extraterrestrial speculation. In the Renaissance, philosophers treated Atlantis as proof of humanity's forgotten golden age. By the 19th century, mystics claimed Atlantis was the cradle of hidden wisdom. Theosophist Helena Blavatsky wrote that Atlanteans possessed psychic abilities and technologies beyond our comprehension. She believed they communicated telepathically, harnessed crystal energy, and foresaw their own destruction. Were these visions pure fantasy, or echoes of ancient knowledge preserved through myth? The 20th century gave Atlantis a new face: science fiction and UFO lore. Writers imagined Atlanteans as survivors of an advanced alien race, their knowledge lost to catastrophe.
Some suggested the ruins of Atlantis now serve as underwater bases for extraterrestrial visitors. Strange lights reported rising from the ocean. Mysterious sonar readings and magnetic anomalies were these signs of something watching us from the deep. Others see Atlantis not as a lost city, but as a symbol of cyclical history. Civilizations rise, flourish, and fall. What if Atlantis is not unique, but one of many forgotten ages erased by disaster? Could it be that our own modern world, with all its technology, is simply another Atlantis waiting for the waves? But Atlantis is also a mirror for human hope. It reflects our longing for paradise, a world where knowledge and power were once united. Some believe Atlantis was a spiritual utopia, where humans lived in harmony with nature until corruption led to their downfall. If true, the story is less about a place and more about us, our potential and our fragility. Modern science approaches Atlantis with caution. Archaeologists demand evidence, and none definitive has been found. To them, Atlantis is a story, nothing more. And yet, fragments of possibility remain. Sunken ruins off Cuba, geometric patterns under Antarctic ice, forgotten flood myths from every corner of the world.
Could all these be coincidence? Or are they pieces of a puzzle too vast for us to see? Atlantis endures because it refuses to be silenced. It appears in films, novels, games, and music. It inspires divers, adventurers, and dreamers. It unites skeptics and believers in endless debate. It is both history and myth, fact and fantasy, science and mystery. And perhaps that is the secret of Atlantis, not whether it existed as Plato described, but that it continues to exist in us, in our questions, in our search for meaning, in our refusal to accept that we already know the limits of the past. So, where is Atlantis? Beneath the waves of the Atlantic, in the ashes of Santorini, hidden under Antarctic ice, or nowhere at all, existing only as a cautionary tale? The ocean will not say. The earth keeps its secrets. But maybe Atlantis was never meant to be found. Maybe it is a story that calls us to wonder, a reminder that civilizations are fragile, that even the greatest empires can fall in a single night, that we too are not invincible. And yet, what if Plato's tale was true? What if somewhere, under miles of water, the ruins of temples still stand, silent and waiting? The waves roll, the ocean breathes, and the question endures. Atlantis is gone. Or perhaps Atlantis is waiting.